Hey everyone, Brendan Sander here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to the 2025 Record Store Day album list reveal. Yeah, it is that time of year. April 12th, 2025 is Record Store Day. They have just dropped the list. 339 titles are included this year. So many more than Black Friday from 2024. I think there was about half as many for that. Here we are, 339 titles, and I've distilled it down to about 30 different ones to run through with you guys. We're going to get into it here in just a bit. But before we do, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like. All those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things just like this with the Record Store Day 2025 album list reveal. And so as I was saying, 339 titles, lots of cool different ones here. I think this is probably about the best list that I have seen in a number of years now. I'm super excited for this. I've already pulled out about 30 of these things that I would like to get a hold of. I probably won't buy all 30 of them because obviously that would be a chunk of change. I'll have to distill it down to the ones I really want. And as always, when I'm going through these lists, I always try to give you guys the quantity number so you know how rare it's going to be, but also whether it is a Record Store Day first or a Record Store Day exclusive. If it's a Record Store Day first, it's going to get a wider release later, and that's how I usually am able to decide if I'm going to pick something up on Record Store Day or I need to wait because there's other titles I want. So that's one of the main ways I do it. However you want to do it is up to you. But I'm going to run through now a bunch of these titles and try to give you guys a nice, well-rounded overview of the kind of music that we like here on this channel, types of things that are going to be available on Record Store Day 2025. So kicking things off, we're doing this alphabetical. 80s pop icons, Aha, Hunting High and Low, the 1984 demos. This is an LP. It is on crystal clear vinyl, 10 tracks on it. It features the band's original demos that they had recorded before making that album. Quantity, 3,000 copies, and it is a Record Store Day first, so it should get a wider release later on. Now, I will preference this and say, just because it says a wider release later on doesn't always mean it happens, and doesn't always mean that it will be the LP or could be a CD later on. So this is an LP, and it should get a wider release later on. That's what we're being told. But there's a number of things from the last so many years that have called for Record Store Day first that I never saw later on. One of those was Metallica's No Life Till Leather demo that they had. It came out on cassette. It was supposed to get the wider release. It never did, right? So if you picked that up back then, being pretty happy right about now, right? So always keep that in mind. Next one up, we got the inventors of heavy metal, Black Sabbath, The Eternal Idol LP, 13th studio album. This was the first to feature Tony Martin on vocals. It's 140 gram translucent red vinyl, quantity 6,000, and also a Record Store Day first. Now, this one has been a very hard one for a lot of Black Sabbath fans to come across, so I know they're going to be super excited about it. They'll probably sell all 6,000 without a problem, but if you miss out on it, it will be available later. All right, and then we have proto-metal band, one of the ones, the archetypes of it that I'm sure Black Sabbath built upon, Blue Cheer, Junk LP, featuring 8 tracks, 7 cover songs that were recorded back in the 90s, plus a live recording of Summertime Blues, the song that kind of started it all. From 2008, it was the final live performance of that song. Quantity on this is only 800 copies, so very limited, but it is a Record Store Day first. Next up, David Bowie, Ready, Set, Go. This is an LP and CD. In fact, out of all the ones I'm going to list today, this is the only one that gets a CD. I did not see any other CDs, at least of ones that I was interested in, ones that I thought you would be interested in. There might be a few others, but it seems like over the last so many years, CDs have been dwindling down in terms of Record Store Day releases, which is really sad. Obviously, I love CDs, so have to pick up the LPs if that's the way I want it. But some of these we do get on CD release later on. This one here, though, getting a CD release. So live at Riverside Studios in 2003, a 14-song concert that was streamed out to 50,000 fans in 86 theaters from 26 countries around the world. So it was one of the first streaming concerts, made history when it happened. Quantity 3,000, and this is a Record Store Day exclusive. So it's not supposed to turn up anywhere else. I know I'll be picking this one up myself. Next up, The Cure, The Head on the Door LP. This is a picture disc of their 1985 studio album. Quantity 8,250 copies, but it is a Record Store Day exclusive. All right, now it just wouldn't be Record Store Day unless you have a release from the Doors. And here's one, Strange Days, 1967, a work in progress LP. No CD this time. Usually with the Doors, we get CDs, but this one here, and I believe back in November for Black Friday, it was a vinyl only release as well. So who knows? But anyways, this is early alternate mixes from the Strange Day album session, mixed by Bruce Botnick back in 1967. So it's not something they've done today. Quantity 7,500 copies, a good significant amount, but this is RSD exclusive. So again, if you want one, you're going to want to pick it up. Next up, Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher, Acoustic Sessions LP, features stripped back versions of songs from his 2019 album, Why Me, Why Not. Also has a few Oasis songs thrown in there as well. Limited edition, silver and blue vinyl, quantity limited to 2,000, and it's a Record Store Day exclusive. All right, next up, for Grateful Dead fans, there are two of them here. Grateful Dead On a Back Porch, Volume 1, compilation featuring 6 songs, live versions from various live albums collected together. It spans 1969, 73, 77, 89, and 1991. Quantity of this, 4,000 copies, and it is an RSD exclusive. So this seems to be something that Record Store Day has been doing. They did it with Hendrix. I know they did this with another Grateful Dead release, but essentially making compilations of previously released items or songs, gathering them together. So you've got that, but there's something else, and it's really, really good. It's the Grateful Dead live at the Beacon Theater in New York City on June 14th, 1976, a 5 LP box set, complete live performance, first time on vinyl. Quantity is limited to 5,000 copies, and it is a Record Store Day exclusive. So 2 things for Grateful Dead fans. I know you guys must be really happy right now. All right, not to be outdone, we got a cool release here for prog rock fans. Jethro Tull, Songs from the Vault, 1975 to 1978, a 2 LP set containing 23 rarities and outtakes from different recording sessions. Covers 4 different albums: Minstrel in the Gallery, Too Old to Rock and Roll, Songs from the Wood, and Heavy Horses. So most of these apparently have never appeared on vinyl, but as I understand it, these have been released on CD versions over the years through those box sets and stuff that are going on. So maybe before grabbing it, if you're a CD fan like I am, you check to see if this stuff is unreleased for you or just unreleased on LP. Quantity 3,000 copies, and it is a Record Store Day exclusive. All right, this next one is very, very cool. This one here might only be the second release from these guys on a Record Store Day, at least that I'm aware of. Could be wrong. Judas Priest, live in Atlanta, 82, a 2 LP set, previously available on CD as part of the 50 Heavy Metal Years box set that they did to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the band. But that was a mega box set of all their albums and a whole bunch of extra live stuff. And I know a lot of us didn't want to shell out for it. Well, it looks like now they're going to start releasing these live albums independently. So first time available on vinyl and first time available as a standalone release, live in Atlanta, 82. No track listing on it just yet, although I'm assuming it matches the CD release. You could look that up. Quantity, 6,400 copies, and a Record Store Day exclusive. So another one I know I'm going to be picking up. Then we got Dire Straits frontman Mark Knopfler, One Take Radio Sessions LP. No track information was provided from the Record Store Day website, but I assume this is going to match the previously released CD version that was already out, which had 8 tracks on it. It was recorded live at Shangri-La Studios. So I would expect it to be the same thing. Quantity 3,000 copies, and it's a Record Store Day first, so I'm guessing it will get a wider release later on. Next, we got another cool one here. As I said, just so many great titles happening for this record store day. Rush frontman Geddy Lee, The Lost Demos, a 12-inch single featuring two previously unreleased songs now being released in physical format because it already has been available to stream for probably the last year or maybe around about that amount of time. The two songs, Gone and I Am You Are available on this. So if you already want to hear this and check this out, you can go stream it. If you want a physical copy, gotta wait until record store day. But it is an RSD exclusive, limited to 3,500 copies. I think if it was a 7-inch, I'd be picking it up, but I'm not as interested in having it as a 12-inch when it's only the two songs. That's just me though. All right, another 12-inch, Motley Crue, Smoking in the Boys Room with Home Sweet Home, a remix version. 12-inch picture disc, quantity 2,500 copies, and it's a record store day exclusive. It seems like Motley Crue's always putting something out, which is really cool, except that they're rarely doing anything that is unreleased, and I don't really understand why. They've got plenty of live material, plenty of alternate versions of things and demos, stuff that they could be putting out, and they just keep reissuing singles and 12 inches and stuff of that nature, which doesn't really excite me. I hope that excites you guys out there, so I certainly don't want to rain on your parade. I just wish we could get some unreleased Motley Crue. The same way we're getting stuff like this from the next artist, Motorhead. The Lost Tapes Volume 6 live in Berlin, 1992, a complete show. So Motorhead has been putting these out 5 volumes already. Here we are with the 6th. I love it when bands dig into the archives, releasing live shows or whatever it is. Quantity on this is unknown. It didn't say on the Record Store Day website. I'd expect it to be a significant number in terms of Motorhead fans. So whenever they've put these out, there's always been copies left over. So I think you're going to get one if you want to get it. I wouldn't be too worried. They'll probably update the list and put that quantity on there before the day actually happens and you can confirm. But this is an RSD exclusive. Now, if you're a CD fan like I am, they went ahead and re-released volumes 1 through 5 as a CD box set last year. So I'm going to be holding off on the LP and hope and pray that after they release 4 more of these, volumes 6, 7, 8, and 9, then they'll add 1 more in 10 and put out a box set the same way they did. Took volumes 1 through 4, added in 5, and released the box set. Okay, next up, Alan Parsons Project, iRobot, Works in Progress, and LP featuring early and rough mixes, all previously unreleased. It's being put out by Cooking Vinyl Records, a label I worked with last year to show you guys some cool stuff. They've already reached out to me about doing this one here. As soon as I get it, I'm going to do an unboxing and review for you guys so you get even more info on this up front. Quantity, 2,000 copies in the US, 4,100 worldwide, so not a whole lot out there. If you want one, definitely better tune in and get it. It is a Record Store Day exclusive. Next, we got one from Queen, the De Lane Lay Demos. Hope I said that right. This is an LP featuring 5 early demos that were recorded between December 1971 and January 1972. So before the band was signed, this is what they had recorded. Very cool to get a hold of this. Quantity 5,000 copies. It's an RSD exclusive. I believe it was part of the Queen 1 box set that just came out. So if you're a CD fan and you bought that, you probably already have it. But this is, as I understand it, an exclusive coming out on vinyl. So first time on vinyl. Next, we got Rage Against the Machine, live on tour 1993, a 2 LP set. This is a compilation of unmixed live recordings, so raw, down, and dirty, just the way that band likes it, featuring 11 tracks spread across 3 sides of the LP. The 4th side has an etching on it. Don't know what the etching is, but it does have that. Quantity on this, get this, 15,000 copies. It's one of the largest Record Store Day quantity numbers that I saw. It is a Record Store Day first. So even with 15,000 copies, they're still going to be releasing this again. Maybe it's going to be in a box set, who knows. But if you don't get one, and I'd be surprised if all 15,000 copies sold out. Could be wrong, man. Maybe Rage Against the Machine's way bigger than I know. But it is a record store day first. And as I said, keep that in mind for all of this here. I'm giving you guys about 30 different titles here, and I know there's going to be even more stuff that I want when the day finally rolls around. When you got to pare it down, maybe use the method I do. If it's a record store day first, you got a good shot of getting it again later. Okay, next up, Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards and his band, The Expensive Winos, live March 10th, 2022. So this isn't even an old thing. This is a new thing. It's not been released before. It's on LP, limited edition red vinyl live EP. Only features 3 songs. That's side A. Side B has an etching on it. And if you want this, it's limited to 1,300 copies, 1,300. That's not a whole lot. So record store day exclusive, run out and get it if you're a Rolling Stones fan like me. This next one here is a really exciting one. I think this is going to be really cool. This is Sting 3.0 Live, a 2 LP set. New live album that features 17 live recordings from his current tour. Its quantity is 3,000 copies, but it is a record store day first, and I have to hope that that means it's going to get a wider release on CD. I do want the LP. I may choose to buy it just because I don't want to take a chance on missing out on it. And of course, that's always the game you have to play, right? It's like, oh, it says it's a first. Maybe it's going to come out on CD. Maybe I don't want to buy the LP now. And I always go through this. And I usually do pretty good with that, but occasionally I pick up the Motorhead most recent, I can't remember what it was, a Remorse No. And then there was a Def Leppard 2 LP live album, and they both got CD releases within a few months. So it does happen. Next, we got Sweet Desolation Boulevard 50th Anniversary live in demos. It's an LP. Third studio album from 1975 that features 10 tracks, live demos, outtakes. Quantity on this, limited to 1,900 copies, and it's a record store day exclusive. I've been collecting all these albums from the Sweet the way they've been doing this, these alternate editions of demos and outtakes, and I've really enjoyed them. It's a very cool process to hear your favorite album done a different way. So I'll definitely be picking this one up. This next one sounds really good, but I think I'm going to wait and hold off for maybe a CD edition of this one. T.Rex Bowlin' B-Sides LP. First ever vinyl collection of B-sides, it says, from 1972 to 77, and I don't really buy that. I could be wrong, but I know there's tons of CD collections of B-sides, but it does say first ever vinyl collection of B-sides. Pressed on crimson red in midnight blue vinyl. Record store day exclusive as far as those colors are concerned. However, the quantity, 1,200 copies, it is a record store day first. So even if you don't get the crimson and blue color exclusive, should get this as an LP edition released later on. And from the art that you saw me put up here, you could see this ties into the Bowlin' Boogie, which they just had released on CD earlier this year, last year, I should say. And I would expect that we're going to get a CD copy done the exact same way to tie in with that. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to take my chances and wait. Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak, an alternate version of that album, their classic 1976 album, reimagining with alternate versions, keeping the same running order. They said where possible. I don't know if that means that, 1 or 2 tracks might not be available or something like that, but they said they tried to keep it the same running order where possible. Quantity, 6,000 copies, which is good news because usually Thin Lizzy things sell out super quick and they're very hard to get after that. And they don't put the stuff back in print. So this is one I definitely want to get a hold of, and hopefully there's going to be enough copies. So record store day exclusive on this one. It is not a first. You're a Thin Lizzy fan. This is time to tune in, right? Okay, we're starting to wrap things up here. Wall of Voodoo, the Lost Tapes Live, 2 LP set, unreleased material from the Andy Preboy era, 1988. Disc 1 is translucent red. Disc 2, translucent orange. Kind of cool the way they did 2 different colors on a double LP set. Quantity, 1,200 copies, and it's a record store day first. Then we got former Pink Floyd frontman Roger Waters' Dark Side of the Moon redo live. So this is an LP, limited edition neon pink vinyl. It was recorded during 2 sold out shows featuring 10 tracks, same running order as Dark Side of the Moon, the Pink Floyd album. Quantity, 2,000 copies and a record store day first. And I think that is maybe more in line to do with the fact that there is a deluxe edition box set of Dark Side of the Moon redo coming out, for which this is part of. But I don't know if there is a vinyl version of the live album that's being included or just a vinyl version of the Dark Side of the Moon redo. But all in all, there is a box set coming out, so check the contents of that. But this here will be released as a standalone, and I love it when these albums get standalone art and everything and packaging. And so this one here also on cooking vinyl. And again, as I said, they reached out to me to do the Alan Parsons project. This is another one, so you will see an unboxing of this here on the channel. Keep your eyes peeled. Prior to Record Store Day, I'll be doing some unboxings of this cool product that will be coming out on Record Store Day. All right, we got the other Rolling Stones guitarist, Ronnie Wood, live at Electric Ladyland Studios, LP recorded live November 2nd, 1992, featuring 9 tracks, and it's been fully remastered. Quantity is 1,800 copies, and it's a Record Store Day exclusive. All right, and the last one here wouldn't be Record Store Day without a release from the prog rock legends, yes, live at the Rainbow London, December 16th, 1972. So available first time on vinyl, and it features a complete live show. But what's even cooler is that the band does an exploration of Close to the Edge during this time when they were on tour. Looking forward to checking out an early version of that. Quantity of this, 3,500 copies. It's a so-so amount. It's probably all right. Probably going to get it if you want to. But it's not up in that 6,000 number range like some of these other ones. So a lot of Yes fans out there. The Yes albums do go quick. So again, if you want one, make sure to check it out. And it is an RSD exclusive, so it's not going to be coming around again. But there you go, a selection of the albums being released for Record Store Day 2025. April 12th is the day. Mark it on your calendar, save the date, get ready for it. I mean, just from what I ran through there, you can already see how much better this Record Store Day, the release albums are from what we've had for the last few years, at least in my opinion. So definitely head over to Record Store Day website, check out the full list of all 339 titles. I'm sure there's other stuff that I didn't cover that you're going to be excited for. So check it out in advance, but I like to try to distill down as best I can to a lot of killer albums just to give you guys the idea of what's going to be coming, get you all hyped up, kind of pique your interest for it. That's what we like doing on this channel, getting everyone excited and getting everyone ready. All right, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.